Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. On today's video, I want to show you how to navigate Reddit in a very efficient way in order so that you can find new leads and new conversations where you can actually find potential clients. So Reddit is a very dangerous place, and with this I mean that the community is very strict with what people say and comment. They hate sales, they hate spam. So I am going to show you how to behave in order not to be spotted as one of those salespeople and how to not be one of those salespeople that everyone in this community dislike. So stay with us in order to see the actual behavior that you need to have once you're in Reddit. What is amazing about Reddit is that you can find your ideal ICP. If you stick until the end, I am going to show you one tool that is going to help you be on the spotlight for your potential clients. So first of all, in case you haven't created an account, you're gonna go and look for Reddit and join, and we are gonna appear here, right? You would join in here in home and would have popular posts. But what is amazing about Reddit is that you can find your ideal ICP very easily. Reddit is an amazing tool to find your ICP if you go to one of the communities where you would find your potential client. So let's say that you have a company that offers services for Shopify stores. So I would go into Shopify's subreddit right here, which has almost 300K followers. There are a bunch of interesting conversations here. I found this one, which is pretty useful. It's a clear example of what on Reddit. They usually are about discussions or asking questions. So you see both sides, from people looking for help and coming into Reddit to their specific niche to ask for help from experts, and the other way around, experts that have had their own experiences and want to share their experiences in these subreddits. So you want to allocate yourself into that second group because you will be attracting that first group of people looking for help from experts such as you. So you can come and find and look for any subreddit. So per se, let's go into Shopify. And once you're in the Shopify subreddit, let's say that I have a tool that offers customer support. And within the Shopify subreddit, I would find a bunch of customer support questions, right? How you handle customer support, absolutely worst customer support, advice to move away to a better alternative. So you have a bunch of conversations where you could find potential clients and potential users, right? This trick is super powerful to get into real use cases of real people complaining about what you offer. Next step is, how do you actually engage in Reddit so that you're not spotted as a spammer? All these communities have very strict rules. So everyone has their own rules. You have to make sure to read the rules before actually commenting and posting. And what I recommend is not come right here and post right away, because there are moderators that spot spammers, right? So you don't want to be spotted as one of the spammers. So it's good to just, when you get started, scroll around, like whatever post that you read it, you found interesting, read the thread. If you find anything interesting, add a comment, just engage. But here are the 5 steps that I highly recommend for you once you start in Reddit. First, you're gonna find 3 subreddits that you like. Per se, Shopify could be one of them. You're gonna join and you're gonna be just commenting and upvoting comments and posts within those 3 subreddits. For the first couple days, you just go in, upvote whatever you find interesting, add a comment which is not too bullshitty but doesn't need to be very long, like your take on whatever happened, or if there's some way you can help, just add a few comments of how you can help, so that you get a few upvotes, because then you're gonna get karma. Now I'm gonna show you what karma is. Once you have added a few comments, then you start to get some karma, then you are positioning yourself to be ready to start adding value. So the first steps that you will do is to actually reply to one of these people's questions, to one of the community's questions, replying a comment, adding value, and a step-by-step of how to do something. So you are only gonna be focusing on giving away and not taking. So you would come here, for example, this guy replied a pretty solid comment and they are trying to help the poster. So this is the type of things that you want to do once you have already added smaller comments, adding your experience or your perspective. Once you have added these comments and you get engagement, you're going to be getting some karma. And I'm about to show you what karma is. So karma, for example, is this right here. Comment karma is what you get from getting votes on your comments, and post karma is what you get from getting votes in your posts. So I used to post a lot and got a few more post karma. I didn't comment that much, something that I should actually be doing more. So now that we're here in the profile, I want to show you how to actually set up your profile. One rule very important is that when you're going to be throwing out comments and posts, what you are never going to do is to add a link of your website or your tool or your SaaS on your comment or post. That is rule number one of things that you cannot do on Reddit, because then you're gonna be spotted as a spammer, people are gonna trash you, and you are probably gonna be banned off the subreddit. So never add a link on your post or comments. Instead, what you are gonna be doing is adding links in your profile, right? So here, Big Nachos, I have my links. I have my agency, I have my LinkedIn profile, and I have my YouTube channel. So I have my links here. What does this mean? Whenever I'm actually providing value, people that find my comment or my post insightful are gonna actually be like, okay, this was a pretty useful take or whatever. They are gonna jump on my profile and they will actually see my links. But it's not like I push them into their face. I drag them with me to come to my place and then redirect them to my socials or whatever platforms, right? So this is the way how you're gonna be driving traffic to your place, actually, instead of you just spamming, putting salesy posts or comments with links. You're not gonna do that. You're just gonna be having links on your profile. That is super important. Okay, so second note, Reddit is quite anonymous, as you will see. The people posting are just like weird names, so you're not gonna be able to spot the profiles. So it is good to know, like, why are you watching this video? Who is in here? Who hangs out on Reddit, right? So I wanted to show you that it's actually pretty interesting to see who hangs out on Reddit. So I looked it up on Google Trends. You can come here and look for trends. So Reddit around the world in the past 5 years, we see a tendency that is growing. So it went from 37% to 90% earlier this year, and now it has settled over 80, right? And the main countries where people hang out in Reddit are from Canada, Singapore, United States, Australia, New Zealand, and list goes on, but mainly English-speaking countries, right? Because Reddit, as you see here, it's pretty dominated by English content. So you're gonna have a lot of people from the US, Canada, Australia, which is actually part of the demographics where your end user is. So it's a pretty useful place to find actual leads, right? So for example, I wanted to give an example that we have right here. Let's say that you are selling software for customer support. So I wanted to give an example. You're selling a tool for supply chain, right? Let's say that you are offering tracking services, tracking operations, for example, if that's even a thing. So there is a bunch of, let's say tracking instead. We're gonna look for tracking, and here in supply chain, you have a bunch of lists of conversations that are about tracking in supply chain. So if you have a product related to tracking and you're selling to the supply chain industry, you're gonna find a lot of very interesting conversations here and conversations and discussions around topics within your space. So it's a super valuable way to find what people has to say. Not only you can find leads, but you can actually validate your product as well. So you can come here and spot pains and patterns that might be very useful to shape whatever product you're building. So this is not only for salespeople, but also for builders. In order to get community feedback, you can come here and actually read on these threads and these posts, what are people complaining about? What solutions are they looking for that there may not be out there? So this is a really good source, not only to find leads, but also to validate your product, right? Okay, so we are reaching the end of the YouTube video. And as I promised, I'm gonna help you gather all these really interesting threads that I was showing you earlier in one place, so that you can actually jump right away and be one of the first people to reply and to add value, so that you are actually in your potential client's spotlight. So it's called 7 Eats. It's actually standing for leads. It's an AI powered lead generation. Once you're in 7 Eats, you're gonna tell you're gonna write here what your product does and what services do you offer. So that the tool knows what you're looking for. And you're gonna have a folder with a bunch of conversations out there where you could potentially disrupt or provide help in order to put yourself into the spotlight. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for staying here with me. Again, this is possible thank you to flowhawk.com, the agency that we run in order to help businesses like yours to integrate AI and to make your company an AI first company. So if you want to be watching more content on how to grow your company and how to use the newest techniques in sales, subscribe to my channel and see you on the next episode. Thank you so much. Take care.